We are back.
Are we live?
We are live. We are potty.
We are live. Oh, how y'all doing? Happy Sunday fun day to everybody.
Happy Sunday fun day. Today was Sunday fun day for me.
So today was Sunday no day for me because I did absolutely nothing. Like I feel like I did a lot of stuff, but I didn't. I absolutely didn't. I ain't even gonna lie.
Well, sometimes doing nothing is still doing something because we know that rest is essential, right?
Absolutely. And if anybody needs a rest, I need one. Like in the literal and figurative sense.
I understand. Well, I definitely was out and about today, which is a change for me. It is my Deltaversary, 11 years, a Delta today.
Congratulations. That's quite an accomplishment.
Thank you.
We know many aspire to do such things and they don't make it. Shout out to them. And shout out to also the people who denouncing their sororities and fraternities too because they found God. I'm gonna keep my comments to myself because I don't want to be disrespectful.
Oh my God.
But yeah, shout out to y'all too because y'all are obviously going through something. Y'all need a little love.
Shout out to everybody.
Yeah, so shout out to the Greeks, the former Greeks, and the I wish I never would have been Greek. Like, though, shout out to everybody. Okay, we just showing love on Sunday, but yeah, I always find that really interesting because I just feel like if I'm gonna do away with something. And maybe I'm the crazy person, but if I'm going to do away with something, I just don't think the grand gesture is necessary. Like, these people go above and beyond to, like, show them burning their nail and stuff and, like, trash bins. And it'd be like, girl,
interesting.
If you don't want to do it, just give it to one of your neos or something and move on with your life. Like, everybody don't got to know it. Like, it's just some stuff I feel like should stay off the internet. And that's one of those things.
I feel the same way. And I feel like there's still a form of, like, for them, there's some type of seeking of validation when people do that. Because I feel the same way. If I was going to do away with anything, I don't feel like I need to make it a public thing. I think it'll be fine if I just do it in private.
Yeah, like, and if you're going to do away with it, like, if you're going to denounce something from yourself, you can't condemn other people for wanting to still participate in that. Like, I just find so much fault in that. And I don't want to sit here and just, people do stuff for their own reasons, but I just feel like sometimes they take it to the extreme. Like, it don't have to be all of that because
it feels counterproductive when it goes that way. So I completely get it, but hey, to each his own.
Yeah.
Again, happy Deltaversary to me and my sins. Love them down. But aside from that, tell me something good, Tosh.
I'm about to take a minute vacation.
We love a good
definitely
vacation.
Impromptu mini vacation. Nothing really planned, just getting out of Michigan. Like, and I'm the first person to say, like, I love Michigan. I love being home. But sometimes I want to get away, and that's more often than not. Like, I love being a resident of Michigan. I love for the laws of Michigan to be the ones that I have to abide by. Like, because I've lived in other states, I just hate those other laws. Like, as somebody that is in the legal profession, the laws of the state of Michigan are very liberal, and I love that. I love being a citizen and a resident of the state of Michigan. Do I want to be here 365 days out of the year? Absolutely not. So
I understand.
Any vacation,
especially when it's cold.
Absolutely. And I think that's why I'm so ready to get away right now, because it's just so much crazy stuff going on, like, in my personal immediate family. And so I just need a break. Like, I just want to get away for a few days, sit by some water, have some good cocktails, enjoy some sun, some wind. It's supposed to rain a little bit while I'm there, and just get away. Just get away.
No, I'm with you on that. It's nothing like a nice vacation to reset and just enjoy a change of scenery, relax your mind, forget about work and life's responsibilities for a little bit. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
And I'm also proud of myself too, because I actually took vacation days for this little getaway too. Like I never ever take, and maybe that's crazy to say, because now that I say it, like if I were to hear somebody else say this out loud, I'd be like, oh, they crazy. But I have never, as much as I travel internationally, I don't think I've ever taken like actual vacation days to go on vacation. And I don't know if that's good or bad.
So you just work?
I always work. So I just always opt for the work from home option. And literally in the airport, on the flight, in the hotel, in between stuff, I just work from my laptop. So it's not like I'm not working. I just always take my work with me because for whatever reason, and it's just something that I need to unpack, but I have this like overworking mechanism in me where I feel like I always got to be working, and I like to hoard vacation time. Like I like to be like, yeah, I got 6 weeks of vacation. Like I'm not about to take 6 weeks of vacation at one time, but I feel like I have to have that just in case, you know. It's a really weird thing, but yeah. So I'm actually taking vacation days. Like I actually put in for them a week ago, which is really weird because usually I just be on vibes with a laptop and a charger.
Well, good for you, because when I vacation, I am on a vacation.
I'm not even taking my laptop. Don't text me. Like I'm really not gonna work.
Don't send me no email. I get it when I get back if you do. But I hope you enjoy your vacation. It's very well needed, very well deserved.
Yeah.
And put the laptop away. You know, it's good that you're taking the days off. Like if you go on vacation, just take the days. So I have a little bit of good news to report. I'm healing well from my ankle injury. That was just an unpleasant surprise this week. I've been hopping around, but no fractures, no misalignments or anything like that, and starting to feel much better. I also picked up my commencement tickets the other day. It's getting real. And I can't believe I'm almost done with this program.
See, that's why we need an air horn. Because I was supposed to say, wah, 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 wah. Like when you said that, like I was supposed to do something. Like we need some audio around here because we're supposed to celebrate that.
Maybe we can find something to plug in there.
Yes, because we got to celebrate these commencements.
Yeah, commencement is a big thing, a big deal. So I'm excited for the next chapter and excited to start the next phase of programming because, I'm going back to school after this. So another paper down. That is another great news portion I have to share because these papers in grad school,
it's a lot.
Insane.
And then people don't realize how stressful as a graduate preparing for commencement is. Like for whatever reason, people have this crazy notion that, oh, you about to graduate, you don't have no work. Like, yes, I do, and I have the most work. I got a thesis due, I got papers due. Like college, grad school are not like high school. Like when you get ready to graduate, when you in high school, your senior year, it is a cakewalk. When you get ready to graduate and you in higher education, it's stressful because you got to pay $17 million for graduation pictures. You got to pay for for example, in law school, I think I paid, maybe about $600 for my cap and gown. And that wasn't, I take that back. It may have been like 3 something, but that was a rental. Like you can't even keep them. Like literally once you walk off the stage, they snatch it right up off you. Like give me that back, player.
Very wild.
Absolutely. Like
$300 for a rental, and I need this for commencement.
Yep, and it's not a regular, and it's a law school.
Mine cost $150, and I was mad about that. And granted, it's mine; I get to keep it. But why does this cost $150? And we've already paid all this money for these degrees and for this program, and for us to go to this institution. It is wild. And then the professors, like the level of work in grad school versus undergrad, it is 100% next level. And I think it's partially because we have real life jobs, real life responsibilities, and you're juggling real life things outside of having to do these papers that are 20 plus 30 plus pages,
with
a
research and
pop.
full annotations.
Yeah,
Let's add that.
research, full annotations, and the shit better be right, because if it's not, you will not get full credit on that paper. And depending on the professor, you may get a 0. And in my program, you cannot get less than a B in any of your courses. So, this is this is next level, a different challenge. And these professors really said, square up and don't flinch.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the challenge though, because I just enjoy being able to navigate something like this. And going to school or being in school it's never been like, some people say, oh, I'm just not a school person, or like, I hate school, or I'm not like, that's never been my case. Like,
Yeah,
I
I
can be
love
in school.
school. I
I
want to go
love
back
to
to school
learn.
now. For what? I don't know, but I want
I
to go
love to learn.
back.
I love being challenged and having thought-provoking conversations. I like meeting new people and being able to collaborate and get their ideas on different topics, and just being able to have a expansive form of knowledge, coming at you. It's rewarding. So
Yeah, I would agree wholeheartedly, because I absolutely love to learn, love school. I just like to be knowledgeable of things, and that requires learning and or reading. And I'm a big
yes,
advocate of both of those things. Like,
I feel like we talked about that briefly
yeah,
on one
we
of the
did
episodes. We
about
some
reading,
nerds,
because
y'all.
yeah, like I just feel like you should read, and I also feel like, and I know we probably gonna bring it up again when we have our college episode, but like, it's so much that you learn about yourself and about life, like going to college. I know a lot of people are,
Yes.
especially in this day and age, are so against like formal education, and you don't really need a degree to make money. You don't, but it's so much stuff, the journey and the pursuit of that degree teaches you that you don't
Yeah.
learn in other arenas of life. And it teaches you like even just social skills, because it puts you like, you don't get to choose a lot of stuff when you're in college. Depending on where you go, you don't get to choose your roommate your freshman year. You don't get to choose who your partners are in your classes. Like your freshman classes, you don't really know anybody. You don't really get to pick a lot of that stuff. So you're learning to navigate even different social spaces. And I think that's necessary in life, not just in the corporate aspect, but even as an entrepreneur. Eventually, the goal is to have your business on a larger scale, where you're going to have to cross over into those corporate arenas. And, once you've sat in college and you've talked to different people and you've been able to navigate in different spaces that aren't usually of your level of comfort, it teaches you, it prepares you for that. And it's so much stuff and there's so many experiences that I remember about college, more so than I remember about grad school and or law school. Undergrad it was a very interesting time in a good way, but it was literally learning who I was, not only through academia, but through social interaction. And it teaches you a lot.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like it teaches you a lot, and it does prepare you for different scenarios. It prepares you to deal with different types of people from all walks of life. But one thing I also feel that the undergraduate experience is, or part of it, it really feels like a fishbowl in a way. Yes, you're learning all these different things, but you have like this safety net from like the real world, if that makes sense. At least that's how I felt being an undergrad. And then when you graduate, that safety net is kind of clipped from up under you, and then you're put in a position of applying the things that you learned on your journey. If you were successful, at navigating, I think, your journey, then you will be fine. But sometimes people just go for the vibes. They don't take class serious. They don't learn anything. They don't really apply themselves. They just kind of coast along. And so the application part in the real world setting becomes a little bit difficult at sometimes. And I think that's maybe this is for the college
Because
episode.
I was gonna say, I also think that depends on the school, and we can get into that more on our college episode. But like I said before, I went to Georgia State. I was in the middle of the city of Atlanta, so we didn't have traditional campus where y'all all competing for on-campus jobs. We were all still competing for jobs with people at the mall, like up the street. You know what I'm saying? Like we were in the middle of one of the biggest cities, you know what I'm saying, in the world. Like we were in the middle of Atlanta going to school. Though we had a campus and we had a campus knit community, we were still living amongst everybody else. Like it's a 10-minute, you know what I'm saying, journey from the schools to the dorms. It's so much stuff that can happen. Like we had homeless shelters next door to dorms. Like we literally were in real life. Like, you were living independently, because you kind of, in a sense, had your own apartment in downtown Atlanta, but you were still living on campus. But we have a lot of supervision as far as like, people can't come in and out of your dorm. Like, yeah, you used to have to let people in with like a key card, but there was nobody like manning desk or anything. It was like you was literally just living in your own space until something happened and you got like reported to the school. But yeah, like I remember being in a party in a dorm and we ain't have nobody, no campus security come. Like APD came and shut it down. Like, yeah, see, it was crazy. Yeah,
that
so
was
it
not
depends.
Well, I feel like that was my experience too, to an extent, because my first year I lived on campus at the first year center, and you did have to check people in after a certain time. They did have RAs and things like that. But when I moved off campus my second year, I had an apartment, and then I had an apartment the rest of my years after that. Then you really on your own.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just feel like, there's this safety net that kind of is formed when you're in college, and when you graduate, for a lot of us, it's like, what now?
Yeah.
So that's that. That's part of my good news. I do want to move to the health and wellness segment of mind, body, and balance. So what you got?
I guess I'm in a space. I don't have much. I have something heavy, but it's not much because I'm still trying to figure out how to balance it.
Would you like for me to share mine first?
No, I can go ahead since I've started, because I don't know, like I think I got to keep expressing it because it's kind of weird. So essentially my sister-in-law passed. By the time y'all hear this, it'll be a week from now maybe. But my sister-in-law passed. But I say that, and I say it loosely, because I didn't know her. Like, her and my brother have only been married for a short time. And when I say a short time, I literally mean a few months. And the duration of their marriage, he was incarcerated in another state. So, and then let's keep it, just to take it a step further, they don't live in the state. They don't live in Michigan. So they already live in another state. And then he was in a totally different state, incarcerated. So I never got a chance to meet her. Like I know her name. I've never seen her before. We've never had a conversation before. I don't think anybody in our family knows her, to be completely honest. Like I know for sure our dad doesn't know her. I don't really think any of our other siblings or anybody knows who she is. I think the only person that knows her is his mom, because she lives in the same state that they do. So it's really weird. Like, it's another layer of grief, but it's one of those kinds of like weird things where it's kind of, I'm trying to figure out like, how am I supposed to react? Because I want to be there for my brother and I love him. And I really feel like, I should be there for him, but the reality of it is that we don't really have the best of relationship, and I don't know her. It's just simply the fact of I don't know her, and I know we can't say, and I'm not gonna say that I can't grieve somebody that I don't know, but I literally know nothing about her. Like I don't know anything, but except for the things that my brother has told me about her. And he has not told me many things, but the things that he did tell me at one point in time about her before they got married were not positive. So I have that kind of sitting in the back of my mind too. So like, I do send condolences and love, like, praying for her family, because she did have a child. That the child is not my brother's biological child. So I know that there's still a lot of trauma and grief and stuff, like another layer that's going to be uncovered once they get to the bottom of all of this. But it's so weird because I feel like as his sister I should be doing more, I should be saying more, I should be a little bit more available for him. But it's hard to feel that way and put myself in that space when I'm already dealing with other grief. There is no void. Like, I think it's different when you're dealing with grief with no void. Like, 3 days from now, it's not gonna hit me that, oh yeah, she passed away, because we don't talk on the phone, you know, we don't have anything. Like, it's just kind of one of those things. And I've been like just trying to unpack it since he told me, because it's, you know, it's like, what do I do? Like, I can't spread myself too thin or pour from an empty cup, but at the same time, you know, that's my brother, and I feel like, you know, he deserves a little support, because that essentially was his wife. But even then, you know, technically that was his wife, but they may have been together for like a month or two. You know, he was incarcerated and then got out, and at this point, you know, it's just kind of like as soon as he got out, this happened. So it's just kind of weird. So I'm just trying to kind of like figure out where that fits. So that's just kind of been on my mind, and I've been just kind of trying to balance my emotions surrounding that. Like, I'm trying not to put so much thought into it and overthink it, but I'm still trying to like address the thoughts that I keep feeling about the situation. And then I also am just kind of worried about my brother, because I know he doesn't handle stress well. So it's just kind of like, I don't want anything to happen to him, because I know this is still, you know, something that's probably very devastating to him. But yeah, I just don't know how to deal with it. And I think that bothers me, because I'm the type of person who usually has the answers for things, and I don't have the answers. I'm like,
I mean, I feel like part of this is you don't have to have the answers at all for the situation.
yeah.
And then, you know, we talked a little bit about proximity and how that plays a factor into grief and how we process grief. I think that there's space for you to hold space for your brother and to be supportive, even though you didn't know this young lady, even though there's no void for you to feel. I don't think the void necessarily needs to be there for you to show up for him. Show up for him in the ways that you know how, at your capacity, because you are still navigating a lot, and it's not on you to be the end all be all in this situation. It takes a village to navigate something like this, and to be supportive of someone who has lost, you know, especially to this degree. So that's not really on you. I hope that you can find some solace in knowing that part of things. Trust me, I get it. It's like, well, how am I supposed to feel? Because, you know, there are these different angles at play, or you know, these different aspects of the situations of the situation at play. But it's not on you. You know, show up the best way that you can with what you have that's available. Be as supportive energetically as you can for your brother, but don't internalize any of this. It's not for you.
Yeah, and I think that's where I am. I'm just trying to make sure that I draw a very firm and hard line between me and trying to carry a load that ain't really meant for me to carry. Like I said, I love my brother a lot, but we still have unresolved issues that we got to work on. So it's like, you know, I can't just take that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not in the space where I can just be like, oh, your wife passed, let's forget about everything, you know, that's been going on, and act like none of that's happened, because all of it is recent. You know, like, this is like, we just had a whole argument a month ago. You know what I'm saying? So it's like weird. But I love him to death. Like, I love my brother with all my heart. But I feel bad, you know, and I called him earlier today, and he said he was asleep, but it sounded like he had been crying. And it's like, okay, your wife died. Like, sir, you can't cry. But I think he's just kind of trying to figure it out too. You know, it's a lot. I couldn't imagine. I really don't want to imagine it, because that's just a lot to deal with. So,
yeah, I mean, I get it. We're all going through something and experiencing some level of grief in life. That's That's a very interesting take to what I just said. We're all experiencing some very interesting form of grief in our life.
Yeah.
No matter the moment.
Well, to me, because grief isn't just like, grief is definitely related to losing like a physical person or a loved one. But people don't realize that you grieve jobs, you grieve relationships, you grieve friendships, you grieve situations. Like, people don't understand sometimes the comfort that certain things, certain places, and certain situations bring you. And when those things are no longer there, there is a grief process. I can just imagine, the grief, the level of grief that some people are experiencing with what we are experiencing in the economy, with all these federal jobs that are being taken away from employees. It's like some of these people have been working these jobs for decades, like this is all they know. Right. And now they wake up and they don't have a job anymore. It's like, what am I supposed to do? That is an extreme level of grief, especially to the degree that not only are you thrust into a new situation that's completely foreign, but now your livelihood is at stake. Like, that's extreme grief, if you ask me, because
it's such a level of grief or form of grief that is heavily discounted, because we typically associate grief with the loss of a human being, a relationship, a connection in that way. We're not looking at it, from that angle. And that's a very critical angle that can cause people to spiral and can cause people to have a myriad of issues, aligned with grief.
Yeah.
And I just think it's so heavily looked over. And part of it is because the majority of our society has this mindset of suck it up and get over it.
Yeah.
Find another job. And it's like, it's not that simple.
Nope.
For some people it may be, but for the majority, it's just not that simple, especially if you've been in this position for X amount of years and you plan to retire, from this place. You've made lifelong relationships with people, with managers, etc., partners. It's a thing, and it's so looked over.
And I've noticed too that people don't realize that also sometimes is the whole reason for a lot of what's going on with the unhoused populations. I watch a lot of like interviewers of like different cities, like on YouTube. Like, that's like my thing to do, especially when I'm about to go to sleep. Like, I watch all these different interviews from cities of like people that are just going around interviewing like unhoused populations and things like that. And a lot of these people, when you get down to the bottom of it, like one of the guys will ask like, why are you homeless? And they'll be like, my aunt died. And he'll be very insensitive and be like, well, what did that got to do with you? How did it make you homeless? But when you think about it, it's easy to say like, oh yeah, you just supposed to pick yourself up, you're supposed to have yourself together. But like, that can happen to a lot of people, especially in the black community, where we see you have this relative that didn't quite, that kind of failure to launch type situation, didn't quite get out on their own, maybe never married, never had kids, and just kind of staying at home taking care of an older relative. The house might have been paid for. They might just be kind of just living.
Yeah, just coasting.
And then that older relative passes away. Intestate, meaning no will, no nothing.
That is gone.
Is no nothing. Yeah. And those people are being pushed out onto the streets. And if you've gone 20 and 30 years just working under the table for your cousin, or working a little part-time job here or there because you never had to pay for housing because you were living with your auntie, living with your mama, your grandmama, somebody, and then all of a sudden this person passes away, and you're just, you're not a direct descendant, like you're not a spouse, you're not a child. So you don't take via intestate, probate, pass through. So nobody's gonna give you the house because you're just a niece, you're just a cousin, though you were the one taking care of this person or helping this person. And that's how that happens, where a lot of these people, especially even the young people, like not even talking about older people, but even some of these young people will be like, I was, my parents weren't there for me when I was a child. I was living with my grandmother. And when I turned 19, my grandmama got sick and she died, and I didn't have anywhere to go. I was fresh out of high school. I didn't have job history. I didn't have anything to put me on a trajectory of being able to take care of myself. So now here I am, unhoused, and I'm out here, and all of that simply is a stage of grief that people don't even acknowledge then, because it literally sends you into that spiral, because not only did you lose somebody, but now you're trying to figure out, once again, how do I make it?
Yeah, you get stuck in that cycle of survival mode. I think that being in survival mode forces you to mask a lot of the emotional feelings that come with grief, because you don't have time, to really focus on that. And so that is even a whole other spectrum that can become an issue later on, because you're not expressing the way that you feel emotionally. You are literally just living day by day and trying to figure out how you're going to make it. So that's a really interesting take. I never thought of that, to pair those two together. Unhoused people actually experiencing a high level of grief, because now that you put it that way, I can 1000% see it. And when I see people often on the streets, I always question what happened. Like, what is your story? Because everybody has a story.
Yeah.
And, I've heard some very interesting stories, some very sad stories. It's like, oh, you were a professor and you did this, and, your wife left you and you just lost it. That's a level of grief.
Yeah.
Navigating through that, being put in survival mode to whatever degree, it's a real thing. So thank you for bringing that up. I think that's really important. I'm going to think about that a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very real but unfortunate thing. But that's kind of why, to your point, that's why I like to watch those interviews and stuff on YouTube, because like it just gives you a sense of humanness, like to the people that you see that are unhoused. Because like you said, there is a story. Everybody has a story. And not only does everybody has a story, it's kind of like I'm interested to see how it turns out, because I actually heard a lady on social media today say people will always judge you for your decisions, but they don't realize what your choices were. And I think that that's very prevalent in this situation, because we will look at unhoused people and a lot of people will just automatically assume like, oh, they was on drugs. You know what I'm saying? They didn't do this. They didn't do this.
But that may not be
and
the
it
case.
may not be the case. Like it's so many things.
They could have very well been on the right trajectory. They could have been very successful at one point, and something happened that triggered them. Maybe they had mental health issues and they were just undiagnosed their entire life until one day they hit a fucking spiral.
Yeah. Or maybe they were totally fine and losing their job and becoming unhoused made them develop some mental health issues, because now you're in a totally different, like,
there's so many.
It's so savage on the streets. Like when you see that, like even when you watch old episodes of First 48, like homeless people kill each other all the time in homeless camps and nobody knows anything about it, because they're living in the underworld. Like they're living in their own little communities, and literally it's so hard for people to detectives pinpoint. To crack those cases, because they'll just find a body somewhere, but they be like, what happened? You know what I'm saying? Like, what happened? They don't know where the person came from. They can't find the family members. They don't know, did the person that killed you, did the person that harmed this person, were they experiencing, some type of mental health issue at the moment? Like, what was the issue? Like what happened? And there's usually no justice in those situations, because it's just somebody, on the street, like vulnerable people taking advantage of other vulnerable people.
That's very sad. Yeah, that's sad. I don't have like much to say about that, because that makes me like, I don't know, think about a whole, I can go down a whole rabbit hole of like issues related to that, to homelessness and mental health issues, and just how people are just out here with no resources, nothing, and it shouldn't be that way. I'm just going to shift gears on that note. So my best friend was battling she's been battling a sore throat for like the past week or so. And she reached out to me and she was just sharing that she wasn't feeling very well. So I made her a tea blend. Now that we're in this time of year where the weather is shifty here in Michigan, it's hot, then it's cold, it's rainy. A lot of us have been having sinus issues, sore throat issues, etc. And then you have all the germs going around. So I just wanted to share that I did make her a tea blend. And I'm just going to talk about one of the herbs that I put in this tea blend. And the herb is going to be our herb of the day.
Well, before you start that, can you tell people about your tea blends and your tinctures and all the other things that you make?
I will share that information at a later date.
Okay.
Because I'm still in the experimental phase, if you will, of crafting, curating, figuring out what works best, what I can tweak, what I want to add or take away. So, yes, more information to come on that.
Okay.
but licorice root is the herb of the day, and that's what I put in her tea blend. So, licorice root, it is an herb that's traditionally used in herbal medicine, and it's an anti-inflammatory herb that herbalists would know as a demulcent. And demulcent herbs, they typically like to form a protective coat over membranes to promote healing and really expand those anti-inflammatory and antiviral properties that licorice root has. So it's typically used in tea blends, or some people like to drink it by itself as a tea, or people will gargle with it for those properties to heal various ailments. So I put a little bit in her tea blend along with some other lovely herbs to accompany the healing process. And she texted me and told me the next day after I gave her the tea that it was the first day she had woken up without a sore throat. Yeah. So she said, thank you. Between the last 3 days and the tea, today was my first day waking up without a sore throat. So I feel very good about that. Pat myself on the back. I gave her some elderberry syrup too to kind of help, with boosting her immune system and keeping things aligned. But licorice root is a lovely herb. If you want to know more about it, always look it up for yourself. Do the deep dive readings. There's plenty of books on herbalism if you're interested in learning more about herbs and the healing properties of plants and how you can use them. And of course, always look into if these herbs have contradictions, as we would say. So that means the herb may or may not work well with other herbs or medicines, things like that, prescriptions. So yeah, that's my tidbit on mind, body, and balance. Get you some licorice root. Consult with your doctor first because I'm not a doctor. I'm not a doctor, but I know a little something, So with that being said, I want to move into sound check. So Sierra has a new song. Have you heard it? It's called Ecstasy.
I want to use some. I'm going to use some diplomacy today, and I'm just going to say no.
Okay, I'm going to assume that means the way that she looks, the way she's looking at me, I'm going to assume that she actually does not care for Sierra. I could be wrong.
I don't care for new Sierra. Her first 2 albums I could listen to front to back, but I don't know. I'm just not into it.
You might like this song. It's so I think it's fresh, it's sexy, it's still very true to her sound. I don't feel like she's trying to sound like anyone. But when I heard it, I'm like, okay, I can groove to this. I could get down with this. But what it did, again, just like Cherish, it sent me down a rabbit hole of listening to all the bops that I've forgotten about from Sierra back in the day. I went all the way back to the first album, and I was just vibing for a minute, like, dang, Sierra really had some tunes that I enjoyed. And
that second album, the one with like Crush on You and all that stuff, that got me through college. Like when that came out,
Crush on You is my jam.
We listened to that so much. Like me and my girls used to listen to that. Like I just listened to the album the other day, like from beginning to end, just because I was thinking about it. Like that's what I'm saying. I used to like her back then. I don't know, not so much. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, people have mixed reviews on her. I've heard similar thoughts. People saying, I really don't care for the new Sierra, which it is new, and I think it's something to get used to. But I do encourage people to listen to Ecstasy. I really enjoyed it, and I think that it's a sexy song. It's kind of, I want to say it's kind of giving like Body Party, but Body Party was such a great song. I feel it was a hit. I mean, they were playing it everywhere, right?
I used to teach a lap dance routine to it.
To Body Party?
At our dance studio, in Atlanta when Body Party came out. So I like Body Party for what it was, but it's not one of them songs that I would just like pick on my own. You would just put on. Yeah. Like I think when I was...
So what's your top 3 Sierra songs?
I don't really know.
If you had to pick 3 top Sierra songs.
Ooh. I can't put them in order. But if I had to pick 3, I would say one of them is I'm Just Me on Evolution. What's that other song that I like? Love, Sex, and Magic. I listen to Love, Sex, and Magic a lot, but I'm also a Justin Timberlake stan, so that's another story. But
I can see you being a Justin Timberlake stan. So I was listening to him too.
That song was really good, and I don't know. I don't know what could my third one be. That's what I'm saying. Like I guess I would have to say either. You know what? I take that back. My Love from Evolution. That song she wrote about Bow Wow when she pretty much laid him out.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. I remember that song. Yes. I didn't know that was
about Bow Wow. Yeah, that was about their little relationship.
Why gotta be a little relationship?
Well, because he was a little person at the time. Have you seen the memes? It was funny. I was talking to my nail tech today about it. You seen the memes when they was like, can you believe Bow Wow and Solange was the same age at this time?
Yes, I've seen
and it made me really look their ages up on Wikipedia. And she was born in 86, he was born in 87. So they are literally like a few months apart. So at some point in time, they were the same exact age. And he looked like he could be her kid.
That is very wild. Leave Bow Wow alone.
That is so crazy. So you went, that's crazy that you went CC route, because my sound check, which is so interesting, it's definitely for that era, but it's Robin Thicke. I put on an old playlist the other day that I haven't played in like over a year or two, and it got in like the middle of the playlist and Robin Thicke came on, and I was like, wait, hold on, this is a vibe. And I had to go back to like Robin Thicke Essentials and like start playing some of the other songs that I used to like.
I'll never forget when the Marvin Gaye estate came for his ass though. They wasn't playing no games.
They need to come for October London ass too then.
Oh Lord, because he sounds a lot like
him. I don't like him. I'm gonna say that. I don't know what people see in that man. I tried to listen to his song the other day, and it's so much. It's like a bad rendition of Marvin Gaye, if you ask me. Like, and that's why I
like October London. I think he's cool.
Yeah, I don't like him. I don't know.
To flow back to Robin Thicke, you just made me think of this one song that Robin Thicke has. It's not on any streaming platforms, and I don't know why, but the song is from the In the Mix soundtrack, the movie with Usher. I think it's called Against the World, or it's something along those lines. But it's such a beautiful song. Like, I think I was watching the movie like at some point and heard it, and I'm like, that's definitely Robin Thicke. I had to look it up, and it's on YouTube, but it is nowhere on streaming platforms, which really upsets me. But if you want to go down that rabbit hole and just take a nice little cruise, listen to
Take a nice cruise.
yeah, listen to that song by Robin Thicke, Against the World. It is really a beautiful song.
I feel like I've heard it before. Like I feel
Really
like I've
nice.
heard it when you say that, but
Definitely a love song.
yeah.
This episode of The Soulful Stir has been brought to you by Ladybug Organics. Ladybug Organics is a 100% Black woman-owned apothecary. Ladybug Organics offers a host of 100% vegan and organic condition and body oils. Ladybug Organics is known for their Tosh Tonic Stimulating Hair Growth Oil. It is a 100% organic scalp oil that stimulates hair growth follicles as well as soothes the scalp. They also are known for their Mr. Beard Stuff, which is a highly sought after beard oil for the fellas, as well as their Body Slick body oils that comes in 4 different fragrances. Shop with Ladybug Organics and check them out online at www.ladybug with 2 G's, so that is LADYBUGG organics.com. Also, all of their socials are Ladybug Organics as well. They have a platform on Instagram as well as Facebook, and would love for you to follow as well as shop.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so my favorite Robin Thicke song is Teach You a Lesson. And I don't think a lot of people know about that, but it's just it's a little role play, teacher-student type of vibe. A little freaky.
Yeah, that'll be right up my alley.
Some little sensual Robin.
I like a nice, sensual, sexy track. Puts you in the mood for the vibes, for the lovers.
Yes, so it's definitely a good song. It's not very raunchy, but it's very suggestive.
Suggestive.
Yes, very suggestive. I'll say that.
Well, that's wonderful. So I guess I'll be on my Robin Thicke wave for the rest of the evening, because I'm definitely going to go take a listen, and I'm definitely going to listen to that song Against the World, because that song is, it's a bop for sure.
Well, speaking of Teach You a Lesson, I think we can slide into Rhythm and Groove.
Yes, I think
because I just
so
want to
too.
get something off my chest, because somebody really pissed me off this weekend. Like, I was talking to somebody about, like, I got to report my podcast. And they was like, is it like an OnlyFans podcast? And I'm like, why y'all?
What's an OnlyFans podcast?
For one, that was my first question. But my mind went straight to Horrible Decisions. Shout out to Mandy and Weezy.
I love that podcast.
Yes, such a great podcast. So,
they're really cool too. I met them almost 2 years ago now at their live show.
Okay.
Very,
and I've always
very
wanted to go to one.
Very sweet. We should go. They decided to do another one. Sometimes it can feel rushed. Like, where people are like, okay, trying to get you in and out. But the experience wasn't like that. They were very down to earth and just very relatable, cool young women. So shout out to Mandy and Weezy.
But that was the first thought I had. Like, are you talking about like Horrible Decisions? Like, what's the OnlyFans podcast? But I'm just upset with society. I think that's what I'm getting to at this point. It's like, why does everybody automatically assume, like, we went from content creator to like automatically everybody's doing OnlyFans? It's like, why was that your first thought? Like, if I said I was making content, why did you assume that I was busting it open on an OnlyFans platform? Like, how you know I wasn't reading scriptures? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, that could be my content. Like, I could have completely Christian vanilla content. I could be in here playing marbles. You know what I'm saying? Like, on my content. It was just,
that is true.
It was
and
just,
Mandy and Weezy, like, I get what you're saying, because they have such a
sex
an
positive.
an open forum for sex positivity, and it's honest, it's raw. But they not to my knowledge, they may be on OnlyFans, but they're not even, on OnlyFans.
Yeah, but it was just the fact of like, do you, like, why do people automatically assume that that's where people are going? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh my God, like when you, even just on a general level, like when you say I'm a content creator, people automatically assume you post a lifestyle content. You know what I'm saying? Like why do people put you in this box of a certain niche? It was like, I don't even really know you. Like, I'm just telling you, like, oh, you should listen to my podcast. And you went from me telling you I have a podcast to talking about OnlyFans. I'm like, did I give you the OnlyFans vibe? Like, we weren't even in a setting like that. And it was just kind of weird.
Yeah, I could see that. But I also think that plays into the idea of hypersexualization and how people just automatically categorize you based off of the vibes that they get or what they would prefer to hear you talk about.
Well, that's because you think it on a high level. You putting too much thought into this. Men just don't know what to say to people. Like, I think that's just, that's the basic of what this is.
That is a basic level. But
why did you feel like that was something appropriate to say to a woman that you didn't even know?
My mind is always going to go into that because hypersexualization is a thing, and it definitely happens.
It is absolutely
quite often with women in any industry. So. Yeah, that's very fucking weird. And
yeah, because it was just like, huh?
Like, why do you think we can't have thought-provoking conversations about almost any topic?
That does not have to involve sex. Like, it's just like, it don't, it don't have to go there.
We're going to talk about some sex on this pod. But
yeah, but that's not like, for you to say, do you got an OnlyFans podcast? Like
what's an OnlyFans podcast?
Yeah, one. Like, yeah, sir.
Is that something that's new that we're unaware of?
Listen, I don't know what these young kids is doing nowadays, but I'll ask them. I'll ask around.
Yeah, ask. Because I'm definitely, and if you have an OnlyFans podcast, you should definitely come on our podcast because we would love to talk and pick your brain, get some perspective, I've never heard of that, though.
No, I haven't either. It was
so
totally new to me. I was like, Auntie don't know what's going on, what's new out here in these streets.
Me either. Abuela don't know either.
I was like, Auntie podcast. I mean, OnlyFans podcast. I'm like,
this is the Auntie podcast, though.
This is definitely an Auntie podcast.
This is the Auntie and Abuela podcast.
What?
So speaking of things that could teach you a lesson, my question for Rhythm and Groove is, I heard somebody ask this question actually, and I can't remember who it was, but can you stay with a man who has a baby on the way?
Oh, no, I'm good. No.
So, story time. Let me answer the question first. Absolutely fucking not. Okay, I'm not doing that. The story time, and now I'm sitting contemplating if I even want to share this about myself because it's low-key embarrassing. But I was in a situation similar to that. I was dating a guy who I had known for a significant amount of time. And timing was always not too good with us. He had moved away for a bit. And when he came back, I was like wrapping up college. I think I had graduated already or on the brink of graduation. But either way, he overlapped me with this other young lady that he was talking to. And of course, well, I can't say of course, because some people are honest and they have transparency. We did not have that, okay? There was no transparent communication about what was going on. He just started dating me and was like, yeah, I want this. I want us to be a thing. I want to be in a relationship. And what did I say? Okay. I was like, all right, cool. Well,
so was the baby?
I'm about to get to it.
Okay, yeah, because I got questions.
I gotta lay out the framework for this story.
Because I got questions.
Yeah. So, sometime like I would say a few months into the relationship, he just ghosted me for like a week, almost 2 weeks. I was trying to get in touch with this man, and I'm not a pop-up kind of girl, honestly. I feel like it's an invasion of privacy. So I said, okay, I'm going to give him a little bit of time to see, don't try that shit now.
Yeah.
Diamond at this big age, yeah, you go a significant amount of time without talking to me if you want to.
I'm trying at your granny house.
Yeah, no, that's because I just feel like that's completely inappropriate and it's not okay. And if the shoe was on the other foot, it would be a problem. So when I finally got in contact with him, he had this story about him having strep throat. Lies. Now, I was just like, okay, but I'm, knowing, okay, whatever. But then it came out that he had gotten the young lady pregnant and she wanted to be with him. She was very adamant about keeping her child and he did not want to be with her. At least that's what he told me. And he was very adamant about not wanting to be with her. And he told her that. And so I'm like, I was puzzled as fuck because I'm like, so what do you expect from me at this point? Do you expect for this relationship to continue?
Yeah.
And apparently he did. He was very much like wanted me to just forget about the fact that he had a child on the way. And I was like, absolutely not. So that relationship ended, fizzled out quickly. But yeah, that happened to me. So when I heard someone ask that question, I felt triggered because I'm like, this reminds me of a very significant time in my life. And that is an experience that I will never forget.
Yeah, that's a lot. Like yeah, that's a bit much because don't lie, for one, and then
Please don't lie. That's the
that
worst
was
thing you
such
can
a
do.
outlandish lie. Like, I got strep throat. Like, was you supposed to have strep throat for 9 months? Like, how was that gonna work out?
That's
sir?
what I think he was. Well, this is what he told me after the fact. And it kind of made sense. He was like, I honestly didn't know what to say. Yeah. And he was trying to harness his emotions around the situation and figure out how he was going to approach me to tell me that he had a child on the way by a young lady that he was just having fun with.
That I got a baby on the way by a woman I barely even know.
Exactly.
These are my confessions. Because
every time I was in LA,
that's the first thing I thought about. It's like,
no.
Say it about you. Say it about my life. It's about us.
Please.
Like, what? Because no. Like,
Ooh, they gotta go to the next page.
Yeah, like every time I was in LA, I was with my ex-girlfriend.
Every time you called, I told you I got strep throat.
Yeah, like what? Sir.
I was so mad. That strep throat thing, like, what? Who you think you talking to? I was born at night, but not last night.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
It's very wild. But yeah, that was my confession for Rhythm & Crew.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not like I don't plan on ever sitting up like that, like staying with a man who has a child on the way. I think that is I commend those who have done it and can do it, but for me that is it's a hard no.
Yeah, it's too many moving parts.
Yep.
And as a person who is an overthinker and who is selfish and very compassionate at the same time, for me it creates too much confusion, because even if there was a situation like, let's say a guy was like, hey, we see it all the time where it's like, hey, you and I were dating or we weren't really dating. I slipped up and got this girl pregnant and she didn't tell me until 3 or 4 months later. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll be dating somebody and they find out later. But then it comes a question of, as a woman, I feel like, okay, you should be there. You should be supporting her because she's going through something that changes her inside and out, like mentally, physically, emotionally. Having a child it literally changes your DNA makeup. Like, it changes everything about you. But then the selfish part of me is like, well, y'all wasn't together anyway, so why does she need you to be there to support her? You still my man. Like, because what I'm not about to do is be on no vacation with my man, be on no date with my man, us laying at home, you rubbing my feet, and you jump up like, oh yeah, Lisa said her back hurt, she needs some Tums because she got heartburn, I gotta go over there and take it to her. Like, nah, like, Lisa need to chill, you know what I'm saying? But once again, as a woman, if the shoe was on the other foot and I was at home, whether I was single or we were together, if I call you and I'm carrying your child and I tell you, I have a taste for this is what's going on, this is what I'm experiencing, I need your support, I'm going to want your support. And that's why it just becomes too much of a confusion of emotions, because on one hand, you need to take care of that woman, but on the other hand, I'm your actual priority. Like, you're in a relationship with me.
And that's exactly, like, you just laid out exactly what the situation was. Like, he was dating this young lady, had stopped talking to her, she was pregnant, and she was very, very particular, very adamant about wanting to be in a relationship with him. So then you got that factor also.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I do feel that a man should support a woman who is going through that phase, because it is a life-changing experience. But then you also got the factor of, this is a woman who wants to be with you, and you are trying to be my partner and establish a life with me. How is that supposed to work?
Yep.
Like, realistically, I don't know, at least for me and mine in my house, I don't know if it can. So that was a real interesting situation, and it took some time to get over. But I don't see myself ever entertaining something like that again. Like, oh, you got a baby on the way? Okay, well, it may be best for you to go and be with that person.
Yeah, because also your baby's first few months and days and weeks of life are very important. Like, you need to be at that house, skin to skin with your kid. Like, and as much as I know you need to be there, I also feel like if we've had this thing going on for months, where we, you know, every Wednesday we get together and watch The Rookie, we watch Grey's Anatomy together. You know how people do stuff like that, like couples. And I would feel slighted if you like, oh, you know, well, for the next few weeks we can't do what we normally been doing because I got to be over there with this baby. You know what I'm saying? And then I don't want you to also to try to bring this baby to the house, and then I'm building this bond with this baby, and then it ain't my baby. You know what I'm saying?
It's not mine.
It's a lot of, it's very sensitive.
That's a whole
like,
nother
it's
side.
like you gotta handle situations like that with kid gloves, and you don't know, because it's not just kids that get involved and get caught up in stuff. It's adults too. Like, people don't talk about that a lot, where you have relationships, whether the kids are small or older, where you have a person that is dating someone who does not have children, and y'all break up. Like, those people sometimes grieve the loss of the relationship with those kids too. It's a lot, and it's just kind of one of those things. It's like, I don't really know, you know.
And I consider, you know, all of those things too, because I really liked the guy. It was one of those things, again, we had known each other for a long time, and the situation seemed like it was ideal timing for us to try to make things work. But then when that factor came into play, it's like, oh no, I can't compromise on this, because like you said, it's just too many situations at play. Too many parts of this are emotion that I'm not willing to compromise on. And he understood when it all came down to it. I mean, initially, was he trying to hear that? Of course not. He was trying to figure out a way to make, things work and for me to be satisfied. But there was no satisfaction in that.
I know I hate for us to always be like, we're going to talk about this on another episode. But we do need to bring this thought forward for real. Like, I think maybe our next few episodes, we should probably just do like topicals where we just talk about one thing. Only because when we're talking about this, and I'm like, we need to examine this whole break baby phenomenon, because that's the same
break
thing.
Baby. Oh
Yeah, like that comes up a lot too, especially in Black culture. Like we were just talking about my situation in my family, where it's like, yeah, where you'll have these people that be married forever, they take a little break, one thing leads to another, then they get back together, and it's like, oh, and everybody's just accepting of these children and stuff, and it's not a bad thing, because family is family, but that whole break baby thing is a lot too. Like, that's a lot to digest, because it's so much to examine. How I think as women it's easier for us to accept, but as a man, if your woman go and have a baby by another man while y'all on a break, are you about to just come back in and be like, I was supposed to be your real daddy, hey, I'm here? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm taking care of you now because I'm back in the picture.
I know.
Like, that's weird.
I know. Yeah. I don't even know if I would share that story on the pod, but I know someone whose life is framed around that very scenario.
Yeah. Like,
and it's just interesting. What can I say about it without saying too much?
Yeah, but that's a big thing.
It is a big thing. We should definitely further examine it. Let's jump into the delicious dive. So, did you have something?
Yeah, because I do want to follow up. I was supposed to make my content, and I'm still gonna make a short form, a short form review. I did get to go have my oysters, and when I tell y'all, oh my God,
nasty.
They were delicious. So much so that we sat in there and I ordered some more.
Oh my God.
They were so delicious. So I am going to do a short form review, like a little reel or something, and tell y'all about them. Because I did take a picture. But when I say they were so good, I opened the container and I tried to, before I had a chance to like literally sit my phone up, I don't know why, but I was like, I'm going to taste one first. Mm-hmm. And before I even had a chance to set the phone up, all 4 of them was gone.
You didn't even, why you don't have no self-control?
Because they was that good. Like, you open the box and you could smell the char grill on them, and they were like busting out the seams with like Parmesan cheese. And I had one with blackened salmon and stuff and Parmesan cheese on top. Then I had the seafood overload that had lobster, crab, and shrimp on top of the oyster. Oh my God, it was so good. And I was on a high from that all week, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I went on Wednesday. It was such a great time. And on Thursday, I tried to come home and make a baked potato in the Instant Pot. I've done this a million times, but for whatever reason, I almost set my house on fire this particular time. And it was one baked potato. I didn't put enough. I realized after it was all said and done that I didn't put enough water in the pressure cooker. I caught myself putting a little bit of water because it was a smaller potato, but I didn't realize that I was going to leave it cooking for so long, and all the water evaporated out. It was like smoking. The Instant Pot was beeping, and I was in the shower. So I definitely had to run down the hall naked, wet, because I was like, is there something beeping? Like, I just, like, because I knew I was cooking. So when I started hearing something beeping, I just got scared. Like, I hope it ain't the fire alarm, because I also had a steak in the oven. So needless to say, that night I had to eat steak and grits.
Steak and grits.
Because I'm allergic to eggs, so I couldn't have no eggs. Clearly, my potato was done. It was towed up. So I didn't have no other option. I mean, it was either going to be that or steak and oatmeal.
Steak and grits, that sounds very interesting. I mean, I like fish and grits and shrimp and grits.
I do too, but I make yellow corn grits, and I make them with like cream cheese and different stuff in them. So they're like really creamy, like polenta. Yeah. So it's more like like I could have literally like fried it and had like fried polenta and steak versus.
That's how I make mine too. I use a heavy whipping cream in my grits.
Yeah.
And
So
a stock, usually a veggie stock to start it. But hey, you saved that meal. Good for you. And I'm glad you had a good experience, a great experience. It sounds like at Detroit Oyster Boys. So shout out to them.
it was good. And I will say that the service was pretty good too. It was just extremely busy because Wednesday is the day that they have the special. So it's weird because I do want to go on a day that's not Wednesday just to kind of see what the flow of traffic looks like. But I really don't want to pay a non-Wednesday price, you know?
I understand.
So, yeah, we're going to see how that works out. But I am definitely going back. I definitely wanted to go back this Wednesday, but I forgot that I'll be out of town. So, probably next Wednesday I'll go back. But they were delicious. When I say delicious,
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
like, oh my goodness. Like, it was packed. That's how you know they good. People was just
I saw on their social media, they were... one of the guys, I don't know if he's the owner, but he was asking for grace because they had so many orders. And I'm like, well, that's a good thing. That's good to see. Like, the food must be good. So, again, shout out to the Detroit Oyster Boys. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm not going, because I'm not an oyster girly.
I am also going to say, since we still on our food segment, I am really frustrated, okay? I am frustrated with the black restaurant owners in Detroit. And I say this to say that when they first opened that food hall or food court or whatever you want to call it on 6 Mile, they had certain restaurants in there. We were going there religiously. Like when people were coming in town and they didn't know what they wanted to eat, I would take them there because it would be so many options in there of things to eat. But there were certain places that it was stuff that I loved, like was trying to go to, and then all of a sudden they were closed. Like when I went the other day to go to get the oysters, these places they're not in existence anymore. Like they're gone out of the food hall. I'm like, how do we contact these restaurants? Because it was one place it was a black owned restaurant, two middle-aged black ladies, very nice ladies. When I tell you the sweetest ladies I've ever met, sweet food was beyond delicious. They had like gyro bowls, oxtail bowls. They had like very good food. And all of a sudden I looked up when I went the other day, they were gone. And I'm like, where are y'all now? And the same thing goes for, there was another place. It was a taco place called Hungry Chameleon. It was on on Grand River, close to Joy Road by Paradise, the Chinese restaurant for all my West Siders that know about that. But it's right by Paradise. And for like a year and a half, me and Asia was going there all the time. Like this place, she was making so many good tacos. Like black lady owned this food truck, and when I tell you tacos were banging, she made taco bowls. I used to buy Royce food from there because he used to like her black eyed peas and Spanish rice. This lady, when I tell you her prices were on point, food was good, customer service top tier. I ain't seen that food truck over there in over a year. Like, where are these people going? Like, Detroit has so much high turnover when it comes to food and restaurants. It's unreal, and I hate it because a lot of the good restaurants are the ones that are not making it. Like, the places that I just named, those two places in particular, Delectable and Hungry Chameleon, these are black women, like, black women-owned businesses with great customer service, great food, good prices, and they're gone. And then I hate to say this out loud, but then you still got people like Motor City Soul Food in business. Like my favorite meme on the internet is say he nasty, she nasty, we Motor City Soul Food. Like,
I've heard bad things about their food. I've never had it.
Nobody likes it, and they got multiple locations.
I've never had it, but I mean that's an interesting take. I think that, and this is just my 2 cents because I am not in the food industry, but I think that owning and managing a restaurant is a lot of fucking work.
Yeah. And
I think that oftentimes it's a lot more than what people bargain on. And sometimes people have, the preparation and the education, the expertise of running a business to that capacity and managing a business to that capacity. They also may have the capital to run a business, you know, and to expand that business. But oftentimes I find that they don't. And a lot of Black businesses suffer because of that, because there's a lack of funding. There's a lack of knowledge of how to run these businesses and how to scale your business and be successful. And then it's the other part of question for me of maybe some of the people who get into the restaurant industry get into it because it's a passion for them. They just truly enjoy cooking. But sometimes when you do things that you're passionate about and you start to involve the capacity of people and patrons, if you will, who are patronizing your business, and the demand for your labor goes up for this thing that you're so passionate about, it can go two ways. You may be really successful at scaling that business, or you may start to feel a little depleted because you're being robbed of the passionate part of what you love to do, of cooking, of, you know, just enjoying a meal, seeing people enjoy your meal, because now you're confronted with all types of people. Some of those people complaining just to complain, just to give you a hard time, talking down on your business because they just don't have nothing else better to do. Maybe it's not something that you've done directly, or maybe it's a miscommunication. It's all these different things that comes to mind. So I think that there's so many different reasons why there could be a high turnover rate, but I do think that a lot of it fizzles down to a lack of knowledge of how to run businesses and a lack of resources, if you will, to sustain and to scale. So I think that's really what it is. It's like the talent is there, but if you ain't got the resources, then it's easy for a business to fizzle out. And then, you know, let's also be honest about something that I've noticed. A lot of us in the Black community, we are willing to go and spend hundreds of dollars at, you know, these other restaurants. I won't name any restaurants specifically. You'll spend hundreds of dollars there, but then complain about our own that is providing a quality experience. They're providing quality food. They are small businesses that are putting a lot of love and time into their business, into the food that you're eating, and you don't want to spend your money there. These prices are too high. Or, you know, you complain about everything, but then you'll go and spend hundreds of dollars elsewhere. Well, how are we supposed to sustain and gain success if we don't have our own that's supporting us and keeping us open? So there's so many different angles, I feel like.
For sure.
But I'm hoping that those restaurants make a return, or maybe they just you know, scaled into a brick and mortar, like their own location. Let's hope for that. I'm gonna put that good energy into the air that they are that they've just matriculated into a different place, and you just got to find them. How about that, Tosh?
Yeah, I mean that is somewhat of a possibility. I just know for like one of them, I was following them, that they got a social media. They don't even post nothing on their social media no more. So it's just kind of one of those things. Even with that, it's like we wouldn't even be able to support you if we wanted to, because we don't know where you are. Like those things. And I just hate to see that. You know, in my eyes, it's an injustice of you got people that are actually putting a lot of effort into creating a quality product for their community, and they're putting these restaurants in our community so we will have access to them, and are the same people that they're trying to attract are the same people that are not supporting enough to stay in business.
That's a good point.
And you know, it's very,
that's what I mean,
telling, you know, like it's just one of those weird things to me where it's like, okay, come on guys, are we gonna support these people or no? Because like I said, the places are just really nice. Like, food was good, customer service was good. No reason to ever feel like, oh, I don't need to be, you know, I shouldn't come in here, or I'm not welcome, or whatever the case may be. But I don't know.
So many different reasons. If you know somebody that is affiliated with these restaurants, have them give us a call. Send us an email. We're looking for them. Was it the Hungry Chameleon?
Yes, the Hungry Chameleon food truck.
The Hungry Chameleon food truck. And do you know the name of the other
But you
one?
know what's crazy? It's called Delectable. But you're saying that, and I have both of those people's phone numbers in my phone, like the owners. But I'm like, you
Call 'em.
aren't there. I ain't gonna just be blowing your phone up. But I can really call.
I
Oh,
will
girl,
call
listen.
'em.
I know the owner, especially the food truck. I can text her right now and be like, hey, where are you? Like, where you at,
I will
girl?
call.
'Cause we
I will
ain't
reach
seen
out
you.
because I mean maybe that's the connection that's needed to spark something. You never know.
Yeah, maybe.
Depending on what the situation is, we don't know. I do want to share my part of the delicious dive because I found that this is incredibly interesting. So, did you guys know that tomato ketchup was originally sold as a medicine? Yes, in the 1830s, tomato ketchup was sold as a medicine to treat ailments like indigestion, diarrhea, and jaundice. My mind is blown.
Just thinking about that makes me just, ugh.
Can you imagine what it must have tasted like originally? I wonder. So the idea originated from an American physician by the name of Dr. John Cook Bennett, who believed that tomatoes contained medicinal nutrients that could heal these ailments. So he later sold this recipe and turned them into tomato pills. So my thought is this can't be the tomato ketchup that we've been putting on our hot dogs.
It can't be because this
And sausages.
this tomato ketchup causes
and
indigestion
burgers
and heartburn and everything else because of the acid. And then also this tomato ketchup is full of preservatives and sugar and like a whole bunch of other stuff.
So,
because have you ever bought the organic, like it's like an organic ketchup from Whole Foods?
no.
Oh, it's nasty. Oh, it tastes like dirt. Oh, it tastes like dirt.
Well, I won't be.
Like the
I won't be
closest
making
I'm
a
gonna get
purchase.
to that, they have a Heinz like Simply 8 or Simply 7 or something like that. I buy that because it's only supposed
Trader
to be
Joe's
like
is good too. They're
so many
organic ketchup.
ingredients, but no, that Whole Foods ketchup nasty.
I like the organic ketchup from Trader Joe's. That's usually the one that I'll get. But get this. So the doctor was actually Dr. Bennett, John Cook Bennett, who came up with this idea to sell tomato pills. He was actually quite successful for nearly 20 years. So in 1850 or the 1850s, there was a market collapse of these pills being sold because people started coming up with copycat pills and essentially just selling plain laxatives as a replacement for these tomato pills that he had come up with. So that is very fucking wild to believe that even in the 1800s, people were bootlegging stuff, and something as simple as tomato pills.
Like, and that's my thing. Is like, what is a tomato peel?
So he took this recipe that he used for the ketchup and turned it into pills.
Like a tablet?
Yeah, tablets for people to take, like laxatives, or to heal those ailments of indigestion, diarrhea, jaundice. Yeah. So, and one of the nutrients that's in it that he felt that was beneficial was pectin.
Yeah, fruit pectin.
Yeah, so that was used for medicinal purposes. So, if you've ever used tomatoes,
also use fruit pectin. People also use fruit pectin to skew results of a drug test.
why do I feel like I've seen or
Like
read
fruit
something
pectin,
about
yeah,
that?
fruit pectin can, like, I don't know if it the way the THC molecules, I don't think it does for everything. I think it's just for THC and like cannabinoids. But if I'm not mistaken, last time I researched it, it was like you're supposed to ingest large
quantities of fruit pectin because it does something in your body to make your urine not show traces of whatever they're looking for. Once again, I'm not sure exactly what things it covers up because I just don't see fruit pectin covering up crack, or meth.
Oh my God, crack or meth?
Like, that's
why
how
is
I just
it
wanna
always
know, like,
the
what
extreme with
drugs.
you, Tosh?
Because I be wanting to know, like, because
the last episode you were talking about heroin.
because we were talking about Ray. And we were talking about jazz and how all those jazz artists used to shoot up. That wasn't me. That was me stating a fact. All of them, even what's her name? Look at Billie Holiday.
Like, no Billie Holiday slander will be tolerated on this podcast.
But what do you think Lady Sings the Blues is about?
I mean, I understand
Shooting
that.
up dope.
Let's not highlight her
Shooting
dark times.
Dope.
Okay.
All right. So yes, I just want to know. See, so back to the heroin. So if I shoot up tonight and drink a glass full of fruit pectin tomorrow, will I pass a drug test? Those are the things I need to know. Not that I want to shoot up the heroin. I'm just trying to figure out
how effective is it
for all drugs or just some.
That's you should ask a doctor or someone who has expertise and has done it. So contact us if you have a story about using fruit pectin. Because that will tell us everything that we need to know about you, but then it will also help us to answer some of the questions that we have about using fruit pectin. But yeah, that's it for the delicious dive. That's what I got. So let's move on to counsel and confessions. Now, Tosh, you told me this story, like a sidebar story, a while ago. And I just had to know more about it. So here we are. And you're going to tell the pod. Because what better time to share this information? So tell us about the time you were on a high-speed chase with your ex-boyfriend.
So my personal confession. So let's preface it by saying I was at the time... maybe 20. I probably was 19. I think I was 19. I wasn't quite 20 yet because by the time I turned 21, I had a whole nother boyfriend. So I had to be 19.
Oh, this is young tender Tosh.
This is troublesome Tosh. This is crazy back in the day, which is weird. So before we even get into the story, I'm going to say that all of this stuff happened and me and this person are really cool to this day. Like, still talk, friends on social media, like, still cool. So that's what's crazy about all of this. So I was dating somebody when I was in college, like freshman, sophomore year of college. Because of the age reference. I was like 19. So I was roughly like, at my oldest, I was probably a junior, but I don't think I was quite a junior yet. And I don't even remember. I know this happened during the school year because after all this happened, I went to my dorm room and went to school the next day like nothing ever happened.
Wow.
So yeah. So I was dating somebody at the time. Oh, I remember it vividly. Now, it was on a Sunday night. I vividly remember because when I was going to college in Atlanta, I was living in Atlanta. My mom, my stepdad, my brother were living in Atlanta as well. I was in college and I had friends that lived in like a cluster of an area. So the boyfriend I had at the time was a few years older than me, not much, maybe like 3 years older than me. He was a person of the streets. He dibbled and dabbled, had his hands in all sorts of things, legal and illegal, at that time, I would say that.
Wow.
And so he used to kind of dwell in some of these neighborhoods too, like handling his business. So in one particular day, I remember it was a Sunday, because the reason why I remember it was a Sunday, because I was trying to contact him when I was supposed to be heading back downtown to park my car, go back to my dorm, to get ready for school for the next few days. And I called him and he didn't pick up the phone. So I call him again and it's like weird conversation
amongst he and I. And I was like, something ain't right. Well, this is, back before locations. This was before iPhones, all that stuff. Like I think we had Nextels, because this was in 2006, maybe.
I love the Nextel.
2006, 2007. Yeah, so we had Nextels and like Metro PCS phones. So I'm like calling him, and it's like weird. So I decide I'm just gonna leave my friend's house and go back to my dorm. I pull out of my friend's driveway, and I'm driving down her street. And like I said, we know people in these neighborhoods that are connected. So the house that he was coming from, I knew the girl that lived there. He had a little old school car. And at the time he had, I won't say exactly what it was because it's going to be too identifiable, but he had like a very identifiable hairstyle, like at that time. Like there's no way that you wouldn't know that it was him if you knew him. So I'm pulling down the street and I see this girl's house, and I was like, is that my man? Old school in the
Jamal.
Like
Jamal.
I'm like, is that a luxury sport Monte Carlo?
Right.
I was like, I know that ain't the same car that's been sitting in the driveway that he been refurbishing. Like my mind started like literally putting all this stuff together real fast, but I don't think he saw me, which is how this all started. Me being slick, I saw it and I pulled back. He pulls out the driveway, and then I'm instantly behind him. I call him and I say, we for the sake of this podcast, we're gonna call him Trevor. And I'm like, Trevor, is that you coming down on this street? And he like, nah, I don't know what you're talking about. He like, that's my cousin Billy. Now, hypothetically, Trevor is 6'2", maybe 140 fucking pounds. Okay. Billy is 5'5", super light bright. Okay. Trevor is like brown skin. Billy is like super light, super short, low haircut, no identifiable hairstyle. Sir, this is you.
Wait.
At the time, once again, this was my significant other. So I was, living like a dope dealer by proxy. So I had two phones in my car.
Oh my God.
So as I'm calling him on one phone saying, Trevor, I know you see me. I know this is you. I'm on the phone with my best friends like, yo, this nigga think I'm crazy. They like, where are you? And I'm like, we flying down such and such street. They like, are you kidding me? I'm like, nah, fuck that. So next thing you know, so back to Billy, his cousin Billy was talking to one of my friends at the time. So he's on his second phone calling Billy like, call old girl and tell her to tell Tasha stop following me.
No.
But he tried to get Billy involved because he wanted me to think it was him driving the car. You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like, so he was like, call her and have her tell her, like, quit following him. You know what I'm saying? That's him. That's not him. And I'm like, nah. Even she was laughing. She was like, I'm not getting into this shit. She was like, because he's calling me on the other line right now. So we already knew what time it was. So at this point, I'm furious. Now, keep in mind, he's driving an 1986 luxury sport Monte Carlo. It was either that or he was either in the 87 Grand National. It was one of the two. So I say that to say he's in an old school rims. I'm in a 2006 Chevrolet Aveo. Okay? A fucking 4-cylinder engine. Listen, a 4-cylinder engine.
You know it could go that fast, did you?
Knocking the bottom out of that bitch, okay? When I tell you, I know if my granddaddy could have seen the way I was driving that car, he would have lost his mind. I was flying, okay? We went on an extensive high-speed chase. We went through 3 different counties in Georgia because of the way that the counties sit. The way where we were, it was like the 3 different county lines within like 10 miles of each other. We hit 3 different counties. We were in neighborhoods. We were on residential streets.
we were doing the most fooling. The whole time I'm calling him, cussing him out. Like, I know you fucking see me. You're crazy. I had to fucking kill you. Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, stop the fucking car. Stop the, like, screaming out of my mind. The entire time I have the smooth R&B jams playing in the background. Literally. Like, Mary J. Blige is playing on the radio.
Oh my God.
I'm cussing him out on one phone. I got my homegirls on the other phone. And at this point, I get so frustrated. I called my dad. And I was like, Daddy, do you know this motherfucker got me following him? And my dad was like, please don't go to prison tonight. Please, like, my dad is pleading with me to just stop. So this is when shit get crazy, because I was like, okay, I'm just gonna stop. Like, I was like, you know what? He's right. This ain't worth it. But by this time, I'm saying that to him on the phone, but I'm still like slowly doing a little creep behind this car, because at this point he done turned it into a neighborhood, like a residential area. But see, the thing about it was, it was so crazy because I was doing all of this following. We didn't have no GPSs on phones back then or nothing. I was in so many places that I didn't know where I was. And it was weird because he had the upper hand. I mean, he was a street dude, and these were the areas that he hung in. So he knew what neighborhoods had back roads, had exits, and all that stuff. I didn't. So it was just a extreme game of chance. I'm on the phone with my dad, and I was like, Daddy, I'm about to turn around. I was like, I'm in this neighborhood. I was like, he turned to here. I was like, ain't no telling where he about to go. I was like, I'm about to turn around and go back to my room. He was like, please call me when you get there. I was like, I'm about to call my homegirls, talk to them on the way home. I'm gonna let you know when I get there. Because at this point, I'm trying to get him off the phone because I don't want him going into this lecture now that he knows that I'm safe, like, of why I shouldn't have been doing this. Well, just my luck. I turn into this neighborhood, and I call myself turning down the street, thinking I was gonna go turn around in the cul-de-sac, and he was hiding in the fucking cul-de-sac. His car was parked in the cul-de-sac with the lights off.
Oh my God.
And I saw him, and I pulled like T-bone in the side of him. And for how he got out of that shit, I don't know, because I didn't hit him. Like, I just kind of pulled my car, like, you're not gonna be able to slip out of this. He slipped out of this, chased right back on. He turned his lights on, I turned my lights on, and I'm chasing him again. And maybe like 10 minutes later, I guess he got tired and he pulled into a strip club parking lot. So they asking him, like, you gonna valet? He's such a pompous asshole. He like, yeah, get her valet too. And walks around like, so you gonna get out the car? And I was so floored. Like, we sat here doing all of this for 30 minutes. For you to act like it wasn't true, for you to get out the car, to come to my car and say, so you want me to go ahead and pay for your car? You gonna park? He like, you gonna get out the car or nah? I almost hit him in the fucking parking lot. Because at this point, I just went home. Like, I was so fucking floored. I just drove out of the parking lot. And I know the valet attendant had to be like, what is going on? Because I know I had to jump like 3 fucking speed bumps to pull behind him at the valet. Because the way he drove in the club, I drove just like that behind him. Like, because I didn't know if he was about to stop at the club or if he was about to just try to, like, create a diversion through the parking lot. So I was on his ass. I don't know how I had that Aveo. I had to be doing at least 120 miles per hour in a 4-cylinder. Okay,
is wild as hell.
I didn't even have power windows in this car. I had fucking manual windows. That's how old. Like, and it was a 2006, but it was like the base model car that I had because my grandfather had bought it for me just to have for college. And so I literally, when I tell you, I put that to the test that day.
Pissed.
I put it to the test that day. When I tell you, like, I really chased him. And it's crazy because like I said, we're super cool, super cordial to this day. And I don't think we've ever addressed the situation. Like,
you should bring it up.
After it was all said and
done. Tell
done.
him to listen to this episode.
I'm going to make him listen to it. After it was all said and done, like 2 weeks later, like, he hit me up. Because I used to work for Metro when I was in college. So he hit me up like, you got an old Metro phone? Because that's when back in the day when niggas used to trap off their Metro PCS phones because they couldn't be traced. So he called me like nothing happened. Like, hey, so you got a new Metro I can borrow or I can have? I need to buy a phone from you. And I was like, nigga, what? You know what I'm saying? Like,
so we're just going to ignore the elephant in the room.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, huh?
You didn't see me.
Cause what? Like, and that
like,
was the crazy.
what's going on? What's popping?
I can't believe I did that. Like, really did have a whole high speed chase for nothing. Like for the ending to just be nothing. Like
the old Diamond's like, gee, that sounds fun.
It was, when I tell you the adrenaline was pumping, I was in the car, like, you couldn't tell me that I wasn't about to get out the car and, like, act a fool on him. I don't know what I expected the end result to be. I don't know, and, like, now that I think about it, I just don't know what it was, but it was just one of those things where I just caught you doing some shit that you didn't have no business doing, and you could have very well just... And that just goes to show you how stupid men are and how much they don't think on their feet. Because for him to be older, like, most people think about situations like that and think like, oh yeah, older dudes manipulate you, they gonna lie and say all this stuff. He was so not quick on his feet when it came to that thing. Like, you just took off because you knew you was fucking guilty or something. Yeah. Like, this same girl whose house he was at got, like, brothers and cousins and all kind of shit. Like, you could have easily said, I was over here with so-and-so.
Right.
You didn't even try to address it to me to lie. Like, you just took off running. Like, I'm just going to avoid this, not knowing that I was fucking batshit crazy and I was going to follow you.
You caught him off guard. Couldn't think of nothing quick enough.
And then, listen.
Couldn't think of nothing quick enough.
You gotta be quicker than that.
Yeah.
I definitely.
Well, if I need someone to be chased down, I know who to call at this point. Hey, I got a mission for you.
It was so
want to
random.
hire you.
Like, when I tell you, it was the most random thing that happened to me, but it was so crazy. Like, I just wish I could go back, like, and be a fly on the wall. Cause, like, what was I
Tosh the Road Runner.
It was just so random. Like, how do you have a high speed chase?
I feel like you wasn't
Sunday
thinking.
night?
I feel like you wasn't thinking, and that's where, like, shit come into play. Like,
that's
I
what
really
I'm saying.
wasn't
Like,
thinking.
I could have been lost. I could have been all kind of places.
No, you just saw red. You just saw red and was like, oh, I'm about to get your ass.
And that's why I don't like, when I tell people, like, I don't like to, like, have physical altercations, or I don't like to have, like, extreme, like, high intensity verbal altercations with people, because I know myself and I have, like, this tendency to kind of, like, black out and, like, lose track of time, and I will just shit will just go crazy and I don't know what's happening. And I feel like that's what happened in that very moment. Like,
I feel the same way. And it's so interesting you say that, because I feel like we have, on the surface, I feel like we have similar temperament. Like, if people were to, like, meet us, I think, like, we both are just really cool. And I'm like this, like, 98% of the time. But that other 2%, that I try my best to keep dormant. And it usually is pretty, under the surface. It's a whole nother person. So that's why I try my best to be conscious of how I'm communicating with people, and make sure that I'm just harnessing my energy in such a way that I don't allow people to get me there. Yeah. Because I know what that looks like, and I'm aware that they don't. Yeah. And it's because I don't operate in that. I used to be a little bit more fiery, I think, when I was younger, but at this big age, I don't have time. I be chilling. I don't want no problems. You got it. Do you want to be right or you want to be happy? I'm going to choose the latter. Like, I'm cool.
Yeah, I'm definitely a lot
I'm cool.
more calm, and just, I don't want to see myself get in that situation anymore. So I just kind of try to stay cool. Like,
yeah, I'm with you on that. Like, I mean, that's the best policies. And then it's too much going on in the world. Times are just not how they used to be. Yeah. When you had a Nextel phone and a Chevy Aveo.
Listen, when I tell you, I was a menace. Anybody that knows me in that time of my life knows I was a menace. Like, I was crazy. I used to fight guys, like, all kinds of stuff. Like, I was, like, really wild. Like, I was, like, a really wild person. I can't believe that, because even
when I try to say stuff like that to like my mom, like I'd be like, girl, you just don't know. I used to do all kind of stuff. And she'd be like, no, you did. Just because you don't know I did it don't mean I didn't do it. And obviously I did it good because you never knew.
You never found out.
I was out here crazy. Like, yeah.
You never found out about it.
Yeah, it was wild. That was a wild time.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing your lovely story on Counsel and Confessions. Do you have any announcements for the Sanctuary Scoop this week?
I personally don't have any announcements other than me continuously saying I need y'all to follow this. Make sure you're following us on all platforms.
Yep, that's my announcement too.
Facebook, Instagram, most importantly YouTube. Please go back. If there are parts of other episodes that you like, go back and rewatch them, especially on the YouTube platform, because those watch hours are very essential for the community that we're trying to build and for what we're trying to do with the pod going forward. So, you know, every subscription, every view, every minute that you guys watch, we appreciate. But please make sure you're following and you're connected with us on all platforms, so you can not only see the pod and listen to the pod in different episodes, but you can see different behind the scenes content and other short form content to go along with things that we discuss on the pod.
Yes. Well, I have nothing. Those are my words as well. Follow us on all platforms. We're looking forward to continuing this journey with you guys. And thank you for listening to another episode of The Soulful Stir. I'm Diamond Simone.
And I'm Tash.
Later.